Hi everyone, welcome to the Ever-Seeking Empath. I'm a reader who uses tarot, oracle, and charms, and today's reading is your April predictions. So we're going to figure out what might be happening for you in April. I want to remind everyone before we get started that this is a general reading, so it might not resonate for everybody, so just take the messages that you feel are meant for you and disregard the rest. Also, if you enjoy the video, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so, because it really does help out the channel a lot, and then you get to see when I've posted new content right away. And thank you so much to those of you who have already subscribed. I appreciate it so much. So we have 4 piles here for you today. Pile 1 is Poppy, Remember Who You Wanted to Be. Pile 2 is Buttercup, Be Ready, the Best is on its way. Pile 3 is Forget Me Not, Always Remain True to Your Intentions. And pile 4 is Lilac, The Future is Sometimes Lost in the Wanderings of Yesterday. So just let your intuition guide you to a pile, whether that's because of the flower or the saying on the card. I'm going to put timestamps in the description box and in the comments below, and we're going to get started now with pile number 1. Hi pile 1. So if you chose Poppy, Remember Who You Wanted to Be, then this is your message. So we're going to start with your tarot and oracle cards and then do your charms at the end. So let's figure out what's going to happen for you in April. So for your tarot, you have the Knight of Wands, 6 of Swords, the High Priestess, and the King of Swords. So I feel like with that 6 of Swords, that's really what's jumping out to me. I feel like you definitely are moving on to a smoother time ahead of you. I feel like you're ready for whatever this new kind of page in your life is, especially with the Knight of Wands. That's determination and excitement and quicker movement. So I feel like you're just ready to move on to what's next, because I bet a lot of you have dealt with some difficulties in the recent past. And with the High Priestess and the King of Swords, I feel like you're going to maybe have to blend your intuition with your logical mind this month. I think that might be something that helps you get through this transition in one piece, because the High Priestess is very intuitive. She has access to all the universal mysteries and things like that. And then the King of Swords is very logic oriented, very intelligent. He's a strategist. So I think a lot of you might need to kind of blend those two sides of yourself to figure out what your next steps are and to make sure that you can move into this next phase of your life in the smoothest way possible. You have Dark Moon, number 6, maturation, growing up, introspection, know thyself. So I feel like with that introspection, that's really drawing me back to the High Priestess card here. So I feel like a lot of you really are kind of looking within. You're trying to figure out who you are. I think a lot of you might have been in a situation where you just felt like you weren't really being true to yourself. And in this case, I think that you are able to move towards your more authentic self during April. I think that right now you feel like you're maturing. It might have been a difficult time where you felt very alone, where you just felt like all you could do was look within because you felt like maybe you didn't have control over your external environment that much. But right now I think that that is going to pay off for you this month. You have Porcupine Spirit, number 48, time for beginner mind. So yeah, definitely a new start is coming this month. And I think approaching it as a beginner is going to help you, because I think a lot of the time it's hard to admit when you don't know something, or like if you come in feeling very green to the situation. I think it's often like a lot of people have the defense mechanism of trying to prove that you know more than you do. But I think part of the King of Swords is being intelligent enough to know when you don't know something. You know, that's part of being intelligent, is to admit when you are not aware of something or when you don't know something. So I think that that's why it's suggesting that it's time for the beginner mind, is be smart enough to know, hey, you know, it's okay if I don't know something. I can just approach this from the mindset of a beginner. I can learn this. You have Luck, number 31. So yeah, this is going to be a lucky time. I think a lot of you are going to be pleasantly surprised by what comes this month, because I think, again, a lot of you have dealt with more difficult situations, maybe in March, maybe it's just been a few months, maybe it's been a few years where you just feel like luck is not on your side, but I think that that's changing now. You're definitely going to be more pleasantly surprised this month as to what might come for you. And I think a lot of you might have some surprise opportunities like just around the corner, because with the High Priestess as well, that's mystery, you know, not necessarily seeing everything, not knowing the whole picture, and just having to trust your intuition to guide you through it. You have infinite abundance. Abundance is pouring into your life. So yeah, that's a really great card to get, especially with luck. I feel like a lot of you are turning the corner into a much better period of life. You're going to have a lot of abundance coming in. I think that you will have a lot of financial abundance, career abundance, a lot of ideas coming your way, a lot of great people around you to support you and have fun with. But I just think in every area of your life, things are going to start kind of working out for you a lot better than they have in the recent past. You have show the world the real you, full moon in Aquarius. And I kind of love that with your poppy card too, because your poppy card says remember who you wanted to be. And then this is show the world the real you. So I think a lot of you are, again, trying to be more authentic. You know, that dark moon card talked about really looking within, figuring out who are you, you know, what do you want, and really getting in touch with your authentic self. And here, with it being the full moon, I think this is kind of the culmination of a lot of internal work that you've been doing over the past few months or few years. And now it's really time to show your true self to the world. You have charcoal licorice, innovation, invention, revolution. And that's funny because innovation is actually an Aquarius trait. So many of you might be Aquariuses in this situation, but that doesn't have to resonate with everybody. That's just definitely an Aquarius energy that's kind of permeating this reading. But yeah, I think a lot of you are trying new things. I think that you're learning a lot right now, especially if you're approaching things from a beginner mind. Maybe you're even in a career where you've been knowing things for a long time, that you've been an expert at whatever your field is, but now you're kind of taking it in a new direction, or you're trying to experiment a little more with it. But overall, I think you've just got a lot of new energy coming in, and I think it's going to turn out, again, a lot better than you've expected and a lot better than things have turned out for you in the recent past. And then you have Lady of the Lost. Give to others, treasure life and all its magic. So I think a lot of you might want to be reaching out and connecting with people, because especially since there's so much Aquarius energy here, a lot of the time that's very isolating energy, because Aquarius can be very independent, which is a good thing, but a lot of the time that means that you can come off as more aloof, or you feel often like you don't need anybody, you feel like nobody understands you. So I think in this, it's saying a good way to connect with people is by giving to others, you know, seeing who needs something and trying to reach out and give to them, you know, help people when you can, and then they in turn will help you when you are in need of it. And then with treasure life and all its magic, I think that's just saying appreciate what's right in front of you. I think that that might be part of what kind of takes you through this turning point, is if you are looking at things with a more positive mindset, and just really appreciating all the little things around you. I think that that's going to help kind of turn your life around and turn your mindset around, as well as if you just focus on those positive little qualities around you that are going to make you feel better. So we're going to get your charms now, group 1, and we're using the heart to figure out kind of what your focus needs to be for April, or what the main thing is that's happening this month. So group 1, what is happening for you in April? So a lot of charms came out at once. So I feel like you might get to a point in April where you just get a flood of stuff, like everything happening at once. In the heart, you have Cancer here. So you might be a Cancer, someone involved in the situation might be a Cancer. But Cancer energy is also very emotionally sensitive. It's a very connected sign as well. They really value comfort and the sense of home. So I think a lot of you might want to even connect with family or just your community around you. That might kind of help you feel more connected to the world, because I feel like a lot of you are going to be feeling disconnected or have felt disconnected recently. And I think that's going to be a way to kind of reconnect again. Okay, so for your initials, you have W and you have M. So those could be significant initials for you or a person near you. A word might come to mind. I'm also getting like women or woman. So obviously, about half the world is female. So, that's most people are going to be dealing with a woman in some sense, but maybe this is saying turn to the women in your life for support. Maybe they're the people who are going to be there for you to lift you up, that kind of thing. I think a lot of you are wishing for more love in your life, whether it doesn't have to be romantic. It can just be, again, like connecting with other people. Maybe you are feeling just very isolated and you want to feel more connected. You want to feel like people have your back and like people know the true you. So, yeah, reach out. Make sure that you're not isolating yourself because you feel like no one wants to talk to you or wants to help you out. Sometimes you have to be the one to initiate that contact. You have the sun here, so that's a really positive omen. Good things coming to you. Yeah, it's just the sun is always very positive, very illuminating. Things are going to get clearer. You're going to start understanding some things that you weren't understanding before. It's just a really good positive omen. You have Pegasus as well, which is a symbol for creativity. So if you're a creative, this is a good sign for what you can be working on this month or what achievements you might be succeeding at this month. But it's also a sign, I believe, of healing. So again, just that healing energy kind of coming out of the cold and moving forward into a better era. You have way to go. So that could be saying to give yourself a pat on the back for whatever you've achieved. But I always see it as more of like a Two of Wands energy, being at a crossroads and not being sure which direction to choose. So you might have some options and you're not really sure what direction to go in. And I feel like the advice is just to say, really get in touch with your intuition and your authentic self. And I think that will point you in the right direction. Because I feel like some of you are kind of torn between going the way that you want to go, that you just feel pulled towards, and going the way that you think people want you to go. And I think that that's an important distinction to be able to identify. You have the black flamingo here. So I feel like, yeah, there's so much Aquarius energy is kind of coming through here, that this is a charm of standing out. It's feeling like you don't fit in, feeling like, you stick out like a sore thumb. And sometimes that can be valuable, if you can use that, like utilize it to help your work stand out, to help people see what you really think. A lot of the time you can still unite people with your very unique ideas, even if you feel like no one's going to understand you. I think most people can find an element in whatever you have to give to the world that they identify with, that they connect with. So just keep that in mind. Don't isolate yourself or like reject yourself preemptively. I think a lot of the time if you feel like people aren't going to accept you, you don't even try to get in there and talk to people. So you might be pleasantly surprised. And I think all of your cards and charms are kind of telling you you're going to be pleasantly surprised. So just don't hold back out of fear. Yeah, you have this little kind of snobby looking cat. So that always makes me think of being kind of aloof, trying to act like things aren't getting to you, even if they are, just being a little bit like kind of capitalizing on your independence, even if that's not the energy that you want to be in at that time. You have special, so that definitely says that you've got some special ideas. You're very unique again. Sport, to me, says that it could be like focusing on your hobbies, I feel like is going to be important right now. Because I think a lot of you maybe, again, are focusing on what other people want you to do and not what makes you feel good. So make sure that you're carving out time for your hobbies, for your self-care, to get some exercise, like get moving outside if that's something that you feel makes you feel better. You have the Pig of Abundance here, so more abundant energy. So I think a lot of abundance is going to be pouring into your life. You have the Messages in a Bottle, so I think you're going to get a lot of communication from a lot of different people coming up. That might be what that kind of flood of energy that we got when I pulled some charms, what that was all about is maybe you're just getting a lot of communication at once, a lot of opportunities at once. The Spider talks about creating your life, creating your ideal life, having the power to kind of weave your web on your own. You don't have to depend on somebody else to do that for you. The Owl talks about listening to your inner wisdom. So again, High Priestess energy, making sure that you're listening to yourself, to your inner guidance, and not letting yourself be swayed by what other people expect of you. And then Sense and Sensibility, again, kind of capitalizes on that High Priestess versus King of Swords energy, where it's one is very like logical, analytical, rational, and the other side is much more heartfelt, intuitive, passionate, you know, those two sides of the same coin. So I feel like a lot of you are having those two conflicting sides to yourself that seem to be kind of warring with each other. So just allow yourself to embrace both sides. You don't have to just be one or the other. You can let both come through when the time is right for those. And sometimes it means doing what your intuition wants you to do, but doing it in a logical, rational way. Sometimes it just means making sure that you're taking time to meditate and checking in with yourself throughout the day to make sure that what you're doing is actually what you want to do, that kind of thing. So just make sure that you're doing that. So group 1, I hope that this resonates. I would love to hear if it does, so please leave me a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. I hope April is wonderful for you. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Hi group 2. So if you chose Buttercup, be ready, the best is on its way, then this is your message. We're going to start with your tarot and oracle and then do your charms at the end. So let's figure out what's happening for you in April. For your tarot, you have the 5 of Wands, 5 of Cups, and Fortitude, which is the Strength card. So I feel like you've definitely been through a rough time or are currently going through a rough time because you've got the 2 5s here. So 5 of Wands is conflict, competition, just a struggle. You know, everything feels like a struggle right now, and I feel like you're really trying to make it through. But I feel like one of the things that is really a struggle right now for you is you're grieving something or you're regretting something. I feel like you might feel a bit like you're drowning in your emotions because we see this like wave coming in to take over her, and all these people are kind of like shouting in the water. So I feel like whatever this is, whatever turmoil you're going through, I think that whatever is going through your mind or your emotional state, I think that that's really the worst of it. Like I feel like whatever you're dealing with outside, like in your outside environment, is difficult, but I think it's made extra difficult because of your mindset or your approach to it. And that's really what's kind of taking over and making things difficult. But with Fortitude, you have this really powerful inner strength and courage, and I think you know that you're going to get through it. I think you're a very resilient person. I think that you have a lot of endurance, and you're really just trying to make it through this, that you know that this period of time will not last forever, and things will not always be difficult. So I think you will make it through, even if April might be a difficult month. I think most of you, if this is a difficult month for you, you already know what's going on. This isn't like a sudden surprise situation where more things are weighing on you. I think it's just a continuation of past energies, but I want to see what your oracle cards have to say. So you have Carry Me Home, support, time to be carried, allow others to help, and that's number 27. So I think a lot of you really struggle asking other people for help. I think that you really have a hard time maybe being vulnerable with other people. I think you're often the helper, but so you don't always allow yourself to be helped in return. But just keep in mind that sometimes that energy has to balance out, that people have to try to help back in order for them to not feel as indebted to you. Because I feel like for a lot of you, you feel indebted to somebody else if they help you out, even if you've already helped them in the past. There's just kind of a skewed perspective that you have when it comes to accepting help or assistance from other people. So just keep in mind that when you're going through difficult situations, it's a gift for other people to allow them to help you. Sometimes that's really, you know, it's hard to watch somebody you care about go through something, and it's just, you know, you feel helpless. So sometimes like maybe let your guard down a little and allow other people to help you, because I think that that will help you both. You have Nightingale Spirit, number 41, love is all around. Yeah, so I definitely feel like this is very focused on the people around you who are willing to be a support system. I think a lot of you maybe are ignoring your support system at the moment, that you feel like you have to do everything on your own, and that's not the truth. You know, you don't have to do everything on your own. In fact, it's better to allow other people in sometimes. It doesn't mean that you're weak or that you can't do it on your own. It's just sometimes with teamwork, life is enriched that way. You know, it makes things not as much of a struggle. You don't feel like you're suffering as much. You know, there's a lot of things that, yes, you're still in the difficult situation, but with other people, it doesn't feel quite as dire. It doesn't feel like your situation is as desperate as it does when you're isolating yourself or when you're feeling completely alone. So just don't be afraid to reach out to those people around you, because I think that there are many more than you're recognizing at this point. You have wisdom, number 22. So I think listening to your inner wisdom is important. I think that you are a very wise person, but this is also making me think maybe listen to the wisdom of these people around you, because I feel like you have this resource that you're ignoring, you know, whether that's a mentor or just friends or family, just somebody around you is willing to help and willing to offer their advice and their guidance, and just, or even just be an ear to listen to you vent, you know. But I feel like a lot of you are ignoring these resources right in front of you in favor of trying to do it your own way. But by doing that, you're extending your suffering and you're making sure that it's a lot harder than it has to be, rather than just taking advantage of those tools and resources that you already have around you. So just be careful of self-sabotaging, because I feel like a lot of you people are doing that. You have wandering path, enjoy the journey. So I think a lot of you are kind of, I'm almost feeling like you're feeling a little bit confused right now, like not really knowing which route to go down. That you're like, I feel like this fox is looking at this map like, I have no idea how to read this. And so he just decides to go his own way and just hope that he gets where he wants to go. So again, I feel like that's like one message for a lot of people, that if you have somebody who's already made the map or already knows how to read the map, allow them to just give their advice. It doesn't mean you have to take it, but just sometimes hearing a different perspective can clarify things for you. Even if it's like a problem you're trying to solve on your own, it doesn't mean that somebody else is going to solve your problem. It just means sometimes something they say triggers something in you, so that you can be like, oh yeah, like that's what I was thinking of. That's what I was missing. Just sometimes that missing piece is outside of ourselves. Don't depend solely on your own brain to be able to solve all these problems. You know, sometimes you need that outside stimulus to really trigger something. And also, I think this is just saying enjoy every step. So if you feel like you're right in the midst of everything, or you're right in the middle of turmoil or whatever, try to skew your perspective a little bit to see the excitement or see the fun, or really just appreciating those little positive moments. You know, the like whenever you're seeing things getting better for you, really take time to appreciate that and enjoy where you're at the present moment, instead of always worrying about the end goal only. You have the energy is gaining momentum, waxing moon. So yeah, I think things are picking up for you. I think a lot of you are aware of that, that things are starting to improve, starting to move forward. And I think, you know, I'm hearing like prepare for liftoff. So I feel like a lot of you are like getting your life launched the direction that you want it to go. Maybe you're moving, like relocating, moving house, or like starting a new job, or you're trying to start your own business, or you're getting a relationship off the ground, something like that. But I just feel like a lot of you, this is just the beginning of things. And so there's this initial like push before things start to kind of smooth out and become easier. So just keep in mind that this is just the beginning. You know, it's not going to be this much of a struggle forever. You have moon mist, astral travel, visions, and visitations. So a lot of you might be getting some kind of psychic messages, or messages from the divine or from your spirit guides. You might be seeing a lot of like synchronicities and stuff that help you recognize when you're on the right path. And some of you might just be seeking out like psychics, or obviously tarot readings or something like that, to figure out, you know, am I doing the right thing? Am I on the right path? What should I do next? That kind of thing. So just listen to your inner guidance, listen to the messages you're getting, and just allow yourself to kind of open up to that. Because I think a lot of you are so fixated on your environment or your situation, whatever the dilemma is that's right in front of you, that you're ignoring any kind of help that you're getting, whether that's, you know, from people physically around you, or whether that's divine help that's trying to come in for you. So just maybe, you know, sit quietly and allow yourself to open to that, or take a walk in nature, just something that kind of quiets your mind, so that you can maybe open up to additional guidance or wisdom that might kind of come in for you. And then you have keep going, trust in yourself, you have all you need. So I think a lot of you are fully aware of that you have all you need, but I think that's why it's a struggle for you to accept help. But this really does make me think of the strength card, that you have this endurance, this resilience, that you don't really need somebody else to build you up, but sometimes it's just helpful to allow other people to do something so that even so that they feel better. It doesn't always help you, but sometimes it just means, don't isolate yourself because you feel like you have to do it all yourself. You know that you're capable. You don't have to prove that to anybody or prove that to yourself. But just keep in mind that when things get tough, you are fully capable of following through on this, that you can make it to your end goal. Even if it's a struggle, you will get there. I think a lot of you might just be feeling like your trust and reliance on yourself is faltering a little bit. So just keep reminding yourself. You might even want to take that on as like a mantra or an affirmation or something, like, I have all I need, I have trust in myself, I trust in myself, that kind of thing. But just keep moving forward. So we're going to get your charms now to get some more detail, and we are using the heart to figure out what's in the heart of this situation. So maybe the focus of this month or what you have extra control over. So group 2, what's happening for you in April? So you got a lot of numbers and zodiac signs, it looks like, and some words. But yeah, so I feel like there's definitely a lot of different situations going on because of this variety, and you might all have a bunch of different things going at once, and that might be why you're feeling overwhelmed at the moment. But so we've got 10 and 24 and 22 and 11. So those might be significant dates this month. So just kind of take note of those. But 11 and 22 are really standing out to me too. So those might be some repeating numbers. So we were talking about synchronicities, signs you might be feeling like you're getting from the universe that you shouldn't ignore. 11 and 22, I would guess, are some of those numbers that are coming forward for you. So just kind of take note of those, pay attention, because I think that that's a sign. Pay attention to what you're thinking at that time or what's going on, and I think you're going to know what you need to know at that moment. So in the heart here, it looks like we've got another number. So we have the number 1. So the first might have been significant for you, but I'm also thinking like being number 1 or focusing on number 1. So maybe you need to like amp up your self-care routine. I think a lot of you get so focused on whatever battles you're fighting that you forget to rest or to recharge, rejuvenate, anything to really replenish your energy and your, just your motivation. We have the coffee cup here, so that makes me think again of motivation. So I think just making sure that you are doing whatever you need to stay motivated. It doesn't mean that it has to be constant motivation, but like I said, sometimes you need to rest or recharge. Make sure that you're doing that and that you're not neglecting yourself in the process. We have the skull here, so I feel like something from the past might be kind of weighing on you, or that's maybe why you're having a hard time reaching out to people, or that's what keeps flooding up, like in that 5 of Cups. Maybe you're regretting something from the past and you're trying to move on from that, or move on to make up for that, something like that. And then you have the shell here. So again, that talks about really getting in touch with your intuition, with your emotions, allowing yourself to hear the messages that you're being told. So I think a lot of you might need to find a way to quiet your mind so that you can hear those messages that are trying to come through for you. You have imaginative, which is Cancer energy. So you might be a Cancer, or a Cancer might be involved in the situation. And then you have courageous, which is Aries. So it is Aries season right now, but otherwise you might be an Aries, or someone you're dealing with might be an Aries. But with imaginative and courageous, I feel like that's definitely what you're being advised to focus on quality-wise, maybe be imaginative as to how you approach something. I think that's where other people are going to come into play, is that just talking to someone about what's going on might kind of spark an idea in you. It doesn't mean that they have that idea, but they just say something and it just makes you have that aha moment that you really want to embrace. And then courageous kind of goes with the strength card as well, that just being courageous and fighting through, that you can push through this and it won't always be this much of a struggle. You have lucky, so I think it might be a much luckier month for you than past months have been. And then you have believe in love. So some of you might be feeling like you've been unlucky in love lately, and now you're going to get lucky in love. That also just has to do with the love of the people around you, all the supporters who are there for you, who want to help. So just believe that you have love around you, even if it's not in a romantic sense, and just trust that those people have your best interest at heart. So just try to focus on that. You have the boxing glove, so just more emphasis on that Five of Wands energy, the fighting, the conflict, really struggling to kind of make it through this process. You have the hedgehog, so I feel like you're feeling very guarded. You're having a hard time knowing when to keep your guard up and when to be vulnerable with people. You have the gardening shears here, so I think pruning some things from the past that no longer serve you, making sure that you're not allowing those kind of dead things to stay on and have power over you anymore. You have the lawnmower, so just maintenance is what I think of with the lawnmower. So that makes me think, again, focus on self-care. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself, that you're doing all the things like around the house that you have to get done, but also taking care of your hygiene, taking care of your mental state, feeding yourself, eating nutritious food, exercising, drinking water, things like that, getting sunshine. You have the octopus. So I feel like a lot of you just have so much going on. You feel like you're juggling constantly, like you don't have enough arms to handle all the stuff that you've got going on. It's just, there's so much struggle here and like conflict and, just so many things coming at you. And you have the skeleton here. So again, more kind of past energy, things lingering, things hanging around, skeletons in the closet, that kind of thing. So I feel like a lot of you are just feeling very like disempowered by something from your past. You're feeling very controlled by that, and I think it's time to release that past's power over you, whatever this situation is. You have the rocket ship, and wasn't I saying, get ready for liftoff? This is that energy. It's taking off, you're getting launched. You have the plane here, so make sure that you're trying to get a higher perspective. I think that's why talking to other people, or even like a therapist, for many of you might help, just an impartial third party who can give you an objective perspective or help you see an objective perspective to your situation so that you're not only seeing your perspective. If you're too close to things, sometimes you can't see things clearly. And speaking of seeing things clearly, you have the glasses here as well. So that's what that talks about, is seeing things clearly. Things can be foggy, but then once you get the right tools in place or the right resources, then things clear up. Have faith in the situation and trust that things are getting better for you. You also have from, so I feel like what I'm kind of getting in my head is love from or help from. So I feel like, again, that's about accepting help or assistance or love, just accepting things that people are offering you. It doesn't mean you have to accept everything, but just try not to shut it down before you're even aware of why they're doing it or what they're doing for you. You have the girl who's kind of dressed up here. So some of you might have some like fancy events coming up that you're trying to prepare for. I think you're also trying to kind of present your best self to the world. So that might be why you don't want to be vulnerable around people, is that you want to present a certain face to the world, and you feel like if you break down in front of someone, then they're going to look at you differently. So just keep in mind that everybody does that, and I think the people around you will not judge you. With the passport, you're definitely embarking on a new adventure, trying something new. A lot of you might actually be traveling right now. With the bar cart, it just has to do with having a lot of choices. So I think that might be why you're feeling overwhelmed, is you have a lot of choices or a lot of things that you have to kind of take care of right now. So just make sure that you're giving yourself a break when you can. And then with the boat, I think you are going to be able to traverse this kind of stormy sea, and things will get smoother soon, because know that a storm does not last forever, and eventually you'll be able to kind of feel like you're moving forward more quickly again in the future. So group 2, I hope that this resonates. I would love to hear if it does, so please leave me a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. I hope April is an awesome month for you. I hope you have an awesome day, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Hi group 3. So if you chose forget me not, always remain true to your intentions, then this is your message. So we're going to start with your tarot and oracle and then do your charms at the end. So let's figure out what's happening for you in April. So for your tarot, you have the Magician, Death, and the Empress. Wow, 3 majors. So that's some big energy here. So with these 3, I feel like you are manifesting an ending and a transition into like a new season of your life, because The Magician has to do with having all the tools available to you and taking your intention and making them happen in real life, manifesting whatever it is you desire. Death has to do with the ending of one thing and transitioning into a new beginning from there, because you see how there's this like baby kind of coming out of this and the butterflies are transforming. So I feel like you're definitely kind of going through a long process, or maybe you're finally ending something that you've been thinking about for a long time and you're ready to invest in the life that you want to be living. Because with the Empress, that has to do with growth and abundance and like a new start. It's very just like the only word that's coming to mind is abundant, but it's like springy energy, you know, just things really flourishing. So I feel like you're ready for your life to start flourishing, for you to start flourishing, to just feel like you've got the life you want, you have everything you want, you don't need anything else, you know, that kind of thing. And I just feel like you've maybe been living a life that just didn't feel all that abundant. It didn't feel like enough for you, and you're finally ready to kind of take more control over your life and make more things happen. And I feel like this has been a long time coming because of these big energies. For your oracle cards, you have Acorn's Invitation, Touch, Exchange, Connection, number 17. So a lot of you might be meeting somebody new or meeting some new people in general. I feel like for a lot of you, maybe this is about the restrictions that have been in place for a long time and you're just ready to connect with people again, especially in person. So I feel like you might be getting like invitations from people to do things. You might be able to meet up with people soon, but I feel like a lot of you are just craving this connection with people and you've been missing that. So I think a lot of you are ready to make it happen, whether that means that you have to fly somewhere or invite people over yourself or something, but I just feel like you're ready to start connecting with people again. You have Swan Spirit, Time for a Deep Dive, number 60. So maybe a lot of you have to figure out what you want first, because with Time for a Deep Dive, that makes me think of like really delving into your psyche, figuring out what you want, why you want it, what's been stopping you. I feel like that's maybe something a lot of you have to kind of come to terms with, is what's been stopping you from living this life up to this point. Because I feel like for many of you, you've been living a life that just didn't feel right, or you know, that you didn't connect with, it didn't feel authentic, and you're wondering why you've been putting up with that for so long. Maybe some of you, it was like a relationship you didn't connect with. Maybe some of you were in just the completely wrong career path. Others of you might have felt obligated to family to kind of live their dream. It's going to be different for everybody, but I just feel like really diving in and kind of understanding your own perspective is going to help you move forward. You have Protection, number 9. So I feel like protecting yourself from negative energy is going to be important this month, but also I feel like a lot of you have been protected from people for a long time, that maybe you've been kind of isolating yourself, or having to be isolated. Maybe if you were just trying to stay safe and healthy, you haven't been able to see people, but I think it's time to take down that protection, because we have the Acorn's Invitation that's talking about connecting again. So I think just making sure that you're not keeping people away is going to be important. And then you also have Productivity, number 8. So yeah, I feel like this is definitely a time for you to be a lot more productive. Pumpkins also make me think of like abundance and harvest, which is kind of what I'm thinking of with the Empress here too, because that I'm just thinking of the word harvest with this. So I feel like a lot of you are going to feel like you're getting somewhere in life, you know, coming up. Like you've finally figured out what you're meant to do or how to do it or whatever. But I feel like there's going to be this big push that's going to feel like your life is being freed up to be more what you want your life to be. You know, it's going to fit what you've pictured for your future a lot more than what your present life is. Because I think a lot of you have just felt so stagnant and just unfulfilled. You know, I feel like that sense of ennui is like coming to mind, that you've just been feeling very blah about your life. Things haven't really felt authentic or exciting, or just you haven't embraced that really positive energy in it. You have Stepping into Power. You are strong beyond measure. So yeah, I think taking back your power, that's very much that Magician energy, and the Empress as well. But I think just allowing yourself to have the power to move yourself forward and recognizing what your power is, what you have power over, and then using that to push forward. because I think a lot of the time it's easy to give our power away to external circumstances and say, this happened to me, I can't do anything about it. And there are some situations where that's true, but I think a lot of the time people kind of project that onto every situation, not recognizing where they have a choice in the matter, or they could have reacted differently or something. And I feel like you're recognizing how you can change your life so that it fits what you want it to be much more closely. You have faraway places, get ready for new horizons. So yeah, I think you're ready for a new adventure. I think you're ready to really launch yourself into your future. You definitely don't want what you've already had in your life. You want something new, you want something fresh. You want, I'm getting this sense of wanting to birth a new era in your life. Some of you might be looking for literal children that you want to have, but I think for most of you it's metaphorical. But we do have this baby on the death card, and then the Empress is often, pregnant, or a mother that she's pictured with either a pregnant belly or she's pictured with a baby. So I think just birthing a new phase of your life is going to be important for you this month. I think you're really going to be embracing that energy of newness, really trying to push forward into something new, really connecting with whatever it is that you want your life to look like. You have look at the bigger picture, full moon in Sagittarius. So I think a lot of you have just been maybe more focused on the day-to-day, because I'm looking at productivity too, that maybe you've been focusing on just your, not even your career path, but just your day-to-day job. Whatever those daily tasks are, you've just been very focused on that. And then you look up and it's oh, it's been 5 years and I feel like I haven't gone anywhere like I wanted to. I had this plan and then I just got caught up in the day-to-day stuff and I'm not going anywhere. So this is saying look at the bigger picture, maybe, with that deep dive, figure out what you want and figure out what your long-term goals should be, and then kind of set your sights on it and then figure out a plan. But I think rather than focusing on the day-to-day detail, just all the little stuff, focus on that big picture. You have rocky road, adventure, preparation, challenge. So yeah, with that adventure, that's definitely what that faraway places was talking about. I think you are ready for a new challenge. I think you are preparing right now, or you have been preparing to embrace a new life, because that death energy takes place over a longer period of time. So this is saying you've been preparing, you're ready to embark on a new journey, on a new adventure. You're ready for these new horizons, and I think that you are ready for whatever challenges this might bring. I think that you're actually looking for a bit of a challenge, because with protection, maybe you just feel like you've been living life too safe, you've been doing it just because it's there, it's easy, it's what and now you're this isn't fulfilling to me, it's not what I want something else. So you decide to put that plan into motion and take action on it. And then finally, you have She of the Mossy Bray. Not all things are as they seem. Trust in your intuition. So everybody's been getting a lot of messages about their intuition right now. So I feel like maybe that's something that everybody, the collective, has to focus on. But with that deep dive, that's definitely kind of reinforcing that message. Dive deep, listen to your intuition, figure out kind of what you want. And then with not all things are as they seem, maybe you feel like you don't have an opportunity in front of you, or you can't do something, or someone doesn't want to talk to you or something, and you just have to act on it regardless of what it initially seems. If your intuition is pulling you to do something or telling you to do something, that's better to listen to that rather than look at the day-to-day detail and go, oh, well, these factors say that this isn't going to work out, or that person doesn't want to talk to me, or that I'm not going to get the job, or whatever. It's saying listen to your intuition, because I think you're going to be, that's going to be more accurate than just what you can see in your external world. So we're going to get your charms now for some more detail, and we are using the heart to figure out what's in the heart of the situation. So maybe where you need to focus your energy, or what you have more control over at this point in time, are the biggest things that will happen for you this month. So group 3, what will happen for you in April? So in the hearts, we have the number 4. So the 4th might be significant for you, but also April is the 4th month. So maybe this whole month will be significant. It can also just be a significant number for you if you're seeing a lot of 4s or something. It's the number of stability, achievement, things like that. So just kind of take it as it resonates. And you also have this little apple with the bite taken out of it. So that makes me think of temptation. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like negative temptation, like how the devil energy is often portrayed in tarot. It can also just be wanting something badly and wanting to take a bite out of that life, or, wanting a specific person or a specific type of relationship or something. So I feel like, again, that's kind of what has been driving you. That's what your intuition has been nudging you, like, in the direction of whatever you're tempted to do. I feel like it's sending you that temptation to say, hey, this might be a better life for you. This might be what you want. And I feel like if there's something that you haven't been able to stop thinking about, that's kind of the energy I'm talking about. It's like you just feel like you need to try, even if it might not go well, that kind of energy. So you have heart. So you also have love. So yeah, I feel like a lot of you, it might be a romantic relationship. I feel like a lot of you, it's just more like connections. Again, like if you've been feeling kind of touch starved, like you haven't been able to connect with people, I think a lot of you are just missing that. It's hard to be isolated for a long time, and many of you might live alone or live with people that you don't really get along with. And so this is just saying, yeah, embrace that connection, embrace like just that sense of touch, or really exchanging energies with people, whatever way that means for you. If it's friends, just like having a laugh together, hugging, doing stuff together, whether it's family, like just, again, family bonding, things like that, or whether it's romantic. But I think you really feel that need to connect with people, even if it's like getting out and talking, making small talk with a cashier somewhere. I feel like you're just missing that, and you feel like you've been you and just you lately, regardless of kind of what your outside scenario has been. You have smile. So I think a lot of you maybe are trying to kind of plaster on a smile, even if you're not feeling happy, you're trying to act like it. And I think you're recognizing that facade is kind of slipping. But I think also having a positive mindset and going, hey, what could go right, is going to help you, rather than going, oh, everything can go wrong. It's that message of listening to your intuition, because the way the outside world looks might not be accurate. I think it's saying, the situation might be a lot better than you're anticipating, just based on outside factors. You have the tree here. So yeah, more abundance, more growth. Things can definitely grow and flourish for you. I think you're definitely attached to somebody or something. There's something that you've not really been able to let go of. Some of you, that might mean that you need to let go of something unhealthy. And for others of you, that might mean, hey, pay attention to this attachment. Figure out why you're feeling attached to it. That's where that deep dive comes in. There's the top hat here. So that makes me think of maybe some of you aren't feeling good enough, like aren't feeling like maybe you're high class enough, or like you've worked hard enough. Maybe you feel undereducated for what you want to do. Maybe you just don't feel like you're in somebody's league if you want to pursue them. But I think this is saying, that's all, again, just a facade. That's not necessarily the truth at the core of the matter. So make sure that you're not letting those little details outside of you deter you from going after what you want. You have the football player here who looks like he's going to mow down everyone in his way. So again, more energy of just pursuing something and not letting anything stop you. So I think a lot of you have just been hesitant to even start, or you've been trying to convince yourself to live a life that's unfulfilling. And now you're like, you know what? No, I'm going to live a fulfilling life and nothing's going to stop me. So that's really great energy to be in. Some of you might feel like you need to heal your heart a bit, or just, again, like maybe make up with people or something. But I feel like overall this is just you needing that kind of nurturing energy from other people. You have the pig of abundance. So abundance is coming to you. That's Empress energy again. Things growing, things flourishing. You have the Fool here. So just a new start, excitement, getting really motivated about what's to come. Getting excited for that new adventure. That's really what that energy is about. You have the typewriter here. So some of you might be finding it helpful to write down your thoughts. You might be a writer, you might want to write, you might like to read, or this might just have to do with kind of long messages back and forth with somebody, whether that's texting or email or DMs or something. But I feel like there's definitely a lot that has to be said. You have the wing here, so that makes me think you have angelic protection around you, and also trust in your wings. You don't need to trust in the branch that you're sitting on. You can trust in your own abilities rather than in your environment. So just keep that in mind. You have the capability to do whatever you want to do. You have the sea turtle here, so that has to do with taking things slow and steady and also going with the flow, not necessarily forcing things to happen faster than they're meant to, not pushing too hard, but still, doing the work, but allowing yourself to be propelled by your outside world as well. And then you have the kind of death energy, but we've got the flower here on the top of the skull. So that makes me think that things are over, whatever the last situation in your life is over, but things are starting to grow from that. The first kind of blossoms are being seen. So yeah, I think you're well on your way to whatever this new phase of your life is, and it's time to get excited about that and to embrace that. You don't have to hold back out of fear or worry that things won't work out. Just embrace that exciting energy and that loving energy. So group 3, I hope that this resonates. I would love to hear if it does, so please leave me a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel if you've not already done so. I hope you have an awesome April and an awesome rest of your day, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Hi group 4. So if you chose lilac, the future is sometimes lost in the wanderings of yesterday, then this is your message. So we're going to start with your tarot and oracle and then do your charms at the end. So let's figure out what is happening for you in April. For your tarot, you have the 2 of Wands, 4 of Wands, the Wheel of Fate or the Wheel of Fortune, and the Page of Coins or the Page of Pentacles. So I feel like you're definitely going to have a stroke of good luck this month. Things are going to change for you, but in a positive way because you have the Wheel of Fortune. So yeah, that's definitely about like a change in the stage of your cycle that you're in, whatever that might be, and things changing, but usually it's in a positive way, like a stroke of luck a lot of the time. But I feel like you're sitting here kind of contemplating trying to make the right choice for you because you have the 2 of Wands and the Page of Coins. So the 2 of Wands has to do with kind of planning for the future, but being at a crossroads, not really knowing necessarily which route to take. So that might be kind of the stage that you're at right now. And then the Page of Coins is being at the beginning of something and being eager to learn, but taking things slowly because you don't want to have any missteps. So I feel like if anything is holding you back right now, it's this worry that you will mess up, that you'll make a mistake, or that you won't be good enough for something. So just try not to hold back from taking on this opportunity just because you feel like maybe you don't deserve it or you won't do well enough. Just embrace the idea of making mistakes because that's kind of the part of any process. You have to make mistakes to get good at something. So just don't let that hold you back. And then you have the 4 of Wands, which has to do with like a milestone achievement. It's that first kind of success that you can really celebrate. So yeah, I feel like that's something that's going to happen for you. So I don't think you have to worry about taking any missteps because if that happens, it's just going to lead you to whatever the success might be. But let's get your oracle cards for some more information. So you have Solace, Return to Nature, Tree Wisdom, Natural Remedies, Flower Essences, number 2. So I feel like you might need to kind of take a time out, maybe take a walk in nature or connect, sit on the beach if you have a body of water near you, just like walk around and kind of get in touch with nature a bit. Because I feel like you really need to retreat and just think a little bit, like clear your head. Because I feel like a lot of you are worried about whatever you have to do, or worrying that you won't get to where you want to be, or you're just worrying that you don't even know where you want to go. So I think just taking some time out to really connect with what you really want is going to help you. And you also have Story Keeper, Tell Your Story, Legacy, Write Your Wisdom, number 4. So I feel like a lot of you might be the type to write down your thoughts. This is also kind of suggesting if you aren't usually the type, maybe journaling might help you. A lot of you might also be readers as well, but I think sometimes if you're stuck at a point in time, writing down your thoughts or your worries or like making a pro-con list or something can often help you get unstuck. It can help you see that information and the facts objectively rather than just kind of having it swirling around over and over in your head. So I think just, contemplating and then getting it out, I think is really going to help you make whatever this decision is. You have koi fish spirit. There is always enough, number 36. So yeah, I feel like there's definitely this energy of feeling like you're not enough or like you won't be enough or you won't have enough to offer to a situation or to a person. But this is saying there's always enough. You can always find a way. You don't have to worry about things not being available to you. Try to embrace this energy of abundance being all around you, because I think that that's going to kind of be reflected back at you from your environment. And just, I think worrying about it is going to make you focus more on what you don't have and less on what you do. So I think focusing on what you do have, maybe even writing a gratitude list, might help you. You have ritual, number 10. So yeah, I feel like this month, I would guess that a lot of you have very different situations going on, but this seems to be very focused on what you can do when you feel like things are out of your hands. If you feel like things are out of your control, you can't really push things forward or whatever. This is saying, take on a ritual, whether that's self-care or a spiritual ritual or, like I said, a gratitude list or just writing down whatever you're worrying about, journaling or walking in nature, just whatever that is. I think having some sort of ritual to kind of ground you and keep you connected to the current moment, your present state of mind, I think that's really going to help. You have wise leader. You are a beacon for others. So many of you maybe are worried because you're kind of being forced to step up this month in a way that means that you're going to be seen by more people. Other people are going to be turning to you for advice or for guidance or to kind of watch what you're doing so that they can mimic that or whatever. I just think that you are going to be in a position where you have some level of power over other people, or you are going to be inspiring other people. So just try not to let that scare you out of doing it. I think that's really what's going on, is that just that feeling of not being enough. I think you're really almost trying to talk yourself out of doing whatever this might be. But I think this is some kind of achievement for you. So try not to let yourself be frightened away from this. But I think just recognizing that you also have people you can turn to. You have people who inspire you, and you can watch what other people have done and just kind of mimic that as well. But you're still going to do things your own way. But I feel like you've got that write your wisdom, and then you are a beacon for others. So I think that there's something going on where you're going to be able to offer your own personal experiences and help to guide other people through their personal experiences as well this month. You have communication is key, new moon in Gemini. So yeah, I think a lot of you are communicating this, whether it's meaning that you're writing it down or just talking to people about this. But I feel like people are going to maybe come to you for guidance right now, or there's something that you're wanting to put out into the world, even if that's just a blog post or something that you want to get published. I just keep feeling like writing is what's happening for a lot of you, but otherwise just there's something that you're wanting to communicate to people that is really going to impact people in a positive way. And I think that might be why it's scaring you, is you feel like that a lot of people are going to see this, or this is going to have the power to impact people, and you don't want to do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing. So I think just being careful about how you communicate, but not letting that scare you out of doing it entirely, but just, getting the thoughts out initially is going to be helpful. And maybe with ritual, maybe this is saying just practice too. If you're worried that you're going to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, practice whatever this is that you're having to get used to, so that it's not scaring you so much once you have to do it in front of other people, or once you have to do this big project, or, whatever kind of guidance you have to give to people. That moment will not freak you out so much because you're more used to it. You have kiwi strawberry, youthfulness, optimism, exuberance. So surprisingly, the word that's kind of popping out to me is exuberance. So I feel like maybe you're kind of radiating around other people, and you might not feel like you are, but I think you still have this kind of beacon, even if you don't feel like you're meaning it to be a beacon, but you've got something about you that is making other people stand and watch, that it's inspiring other people, and it's making them realize that they either want to be like you, or they want to try to do things the way you do, or something. But I feel like, again, with the youthfulness and optimism, youthfulness can be tied in with this Page of Pentacles because the page is the least mature of the court cards. So kind of embracing things with that beginner's mind and just like the childlike sense of wonder rather than like editing ourselves or critiquing ourselves. It's better to just embrace the excitement of, hey, I'm learning something new or I'm trying something new from that childlike mindset rather than going, from the adult mindset of, oh, I can't do this right, or no, that's not going to work, or, just finding reasons it won't work. Look at that childlike sense of what will work or what's possible. And then with optimism, that kind of makes me think of that possibility too. Just there's always, there's always enough. There's always going to be positive things happening. What if things work out? You don't always have to look at what might not work out. You can look at it from the perspective of what might work out. And then you have the Woodwife, trust your inner wisdom. So yeah, there's been a through line. I know that I always say this in the last pile, but there's always like a through line in my readings that it seems like there's kind of a common theme that links them all together. And right now for April, it's trusting your inner wisdom, knowing that you have enough to offer the world. You have enough wisdom to give to somebody else. You don't have to think that your perspective is not good enough because it's not everything, but nobody has a perspective that can encompass every piece of knowledge that has ever been gained. Everybody has only their own perspective. So just keep in mind that your perspective is valuable just because it is. It doesn't have to have an extra reason on top of it, but just trusting your inner wisdom and allowing that to guide you rather than allowing your fears to stop you. I think that that's going to be key this month. So group 4, we're going to get your charms now to get some extra detail because I feel like your pile seems very like kind of all over the place. It's kind of vague. So hopefully this can get you some extra detail. This seems more kind of geared towards what you can do to cope with the situation right now or what you can do to help yourself move forward. So yeah. So group 4, what's happening for you in April? Okay, so in the heart, we have the palm trees. So right now, that's making me think, go easy on yourself. You don't have to beat yourself up. You don't have to expect yourself to be perfect. You don't have to think that you need to have all the answers. You can just allow things to be as they are. There's this energy of acceptance right now that's kind of coming through. So you guys got a lot of charms. So let me just kind of sort through them for a minute here. Kind of flip them over to see what we're working with. So for your initials, you have Y, B, V, and P. So those could be significant letters for you. They might be the initials of you or someone you know or something you're thinking about, or a word might come to mind. VP is coming through, so Vice President, maybe that's kind of resonating for some of you. VB as well, I'm thinking almost like vibe. So I feel like some of you just need to embrace a more positive vibe right now rather than focusing on what could go wrong. It's just that focusing on what might go right, focusing on like what your vibration might be at, doing things to raise your vibration, being out in nature or listening to music, just doing things that make you feel better. You have faith, so I think having faith in the situation and having faith in yourself are going to be key right now. You have secret, from, and princess for your words. So I'm feeling like some of you might kind of get some new information coming through, or like you might kind of feel like people are looking up to you and putting you on a pedestal, like this princess is saying, and they're looking for your secret. They want to know how you can do what you can do. Like, why are you so good at that? Or what's your secret? What's your trick? Like, how can you do that? And I feel like that's maybe how you're being a leader right now, is that you are doing things your own way, but now people want answers from you, and that's kind of freaking you out because you haven't really thought about it in that way. You just kind of do it, but you haven't really thought it out in a way that can help other people. So maybe that's why you have to start writing some stuff down, sort out your thoughts a bit. The leaf has to do with flourishing, and also in allowing things to flourish, we have to let go of the dead things, the things that are no longer serving us. You have the glasses here, so that talks about seeing things clearly. So again, I think listening to your inner wisdom is going to help you see things clearly. Steering your own ship, I also feel like you're the captain of your own ship right now, and that's maybe why people are turning to you. Maybe some of you have gotten a promotion and you feel like, hey, I don't really know if I'm up for it, that kind of energy. You have the castle here, so that kind of goes with that princess vibe. So maybe some of you are just feeling like people are looking up to you and you don't deserve it. But also this has to do with like a fortress, so protecting yourself from anything that could possibly try to break in. So some of you might be just really trying to protect yourself right now. You have the wine barrel here, so that just has to do with going through a long process that has kind of particular steps to achieve something. To make wine, you have to go through a particular process. So this makes me, again, think that for some of you, people are looking for your process. They're looking for whatever it is you do well, and why you do it well. Maybe some of you are even like going for a job interview and they want to know what your process is, or they want to see you work in a particular way, and because you've been kind of winging it, you don't know that you've sorted out a process. But I think what this is kind of giving me is that you do have a process, you just haven't like written it down or thought about it in that sense before. You have the bulldog, so that has to do with being stubborn, being very headstrong, and kind of blazing through. So I think trusting in your own abilities and knowing that you have the capability to do this. You are stubborn, you are somebody that pushes forward, so trust in that. You don't have to worry about not being strong enough for this. You have the salamander, so that's kind of like fire energy here. But I'm also getting like just kind of a generic like lizard vibe as well. So the fire energy has to do with like passion, and it can have to do with like inspiration and career as well. But with the lizard, it's making me think of how they grow their tail back. A lot of them do if the tail gets like falls out or whatever. So I feel like some of you are kind of feeling like someone's examining you in a way that makes you feel vulnerable. So you want to like kind of drop it and run, even if you're doing the right thing. You just want to like run and hide because you're feeling exposed, or you're feeling like you're feeling uncomfortable basically. You have the ambulance, so yeah, there's definitely kind of this energy of feeling like it's an emergency. I think you're definitely feeling scared of what's coming. Maybe that's why what you're being called to do is take care of something that's like has high stakes, and that's what's freaking you out. But I think healing is also needed for you because you have the nurse's cap too. So I'm thinking a lot of you might just need to heal self-esteem issues, or just take time, like take that ritual time out. Like, like this is saying, return to nature, take the time to really take care of yourself and not burn out. Divine timing is at play here. So I think a lot of you maybe are wondering when things are going to turn out well, but this is saying just hang in there because things are happening as they're meant to. You have the elephant, so I always think an elephant never forgets. So I'm thinking maybe some things from the past are coming up for you, or like bugging you. Maybe you feel like other people are judging you based on things you've done in the past, or you feel like people have noticed things about you that you don't necessarily notice, and that's freaking you out. You have the flower here, so that has to do with like showing your beauty, showing your inner beauty, showing your uniqueness as well. And with the star, that has to do with like a wish coming true, but it's also about your unique self, showing your authentic self and allowing yourself to shine brightly. You have the lone wolf, so I think a lot of you are used to like working alone or doing things alone, and so when other people are like looking to you, it freaks you out and you just feel a bit, again, exposed. You feel vulnerable and you don't really want people watching you. Because with the sunglasses here, it's making me think you want to like put on a disguise and like hide from people, not be recognized. Some of you might be in the public eye, but obviously that's not going to be for many people. And you have the pine cone here, so that has to do with fertility and eternal life. So I feel like you definitely have the potential to grow something new here, but I feel like this is also about taking past experiences, past disappointments, and turning those into something new and exciting that fits with you more. It's taking, past mistakes and using that to help other people, that kind of thing. Using that as advice. And then you have the flip-flop here. So that has to do with just, again, taking a break. That makes me think of like walking down to the beach. And it also makes me think of footprints, leaving footprints on the beach. So I think somebody or a few people want to follow in your footsteps. They want to know what you're doing and how you did it. So I think a lot of you are really in this position of guiding people. So some of you might even just be parents and you're trying to teach someone something and you feel ill-equipped to do that. But I think just in general, a lot of you are just doubting in your abilities, and you shouldn't, because you've got it all, you know. I think you're definitely a lot harder on yourself than you need to be or should be. So group 4, I hope that this resonates. I would love to hear if it does, so please leave me a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. I hope you have an awesome April and a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.